I was beginning to worry you had lost your way. Come, we've saved you a seat.
I can't believe it's our last visit to the world of Harry Potter already.
We made it.
I mean, I've really enjoyed it.
It's an interesting way to having looked at it because I've grown up. Very interesting experience. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, I've not watched them since they ended, and that was 10 years ago this week.
Wow. Oh, God. That is a long time.
It doesn't feel like a long time, though.
I know, it goes so quick. You blink and a decade's gone.
Yeah, and they're so much in the cultural consciousness that you don't really have to watch them, really, to feel like they're still there or that they're fresh in your memory and whatnot. So, a big thank you to anyone who's listened so far. If you haven't, where have you been? Because you've missed out. What we've covered so far is not only reviews of the first 6 films, but we've also looked at the book-to-screen process, our favourite deleted scenes, the evolution of the series, our favourite music, the casting of it, our top 10 characters. And we've learnt a lot along the way, not just about the franchise, but about ourselves as well. For example, Mary found out she really likes Luna Lovegood, except when she's getting punched in the face. And I detest Ginny Weasley. Surprise, surprise.
You do a lot.
It's
a surprising hatred.
Yeah. And in this episode, we're going to be reviewing the last 2 films, which is Deathly Hallows Part 1 and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. So they go very hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And a little bit backwards, we'll then be looking at the legacy of Harry Potter, 20 years on from the first film coming out and 10 years since the last one ended. And we're doing a quiz, or 2 quizzes, however you want to look at it. Basically, nearly 50 questions advanced for me and Mary to see how well we were listening along the way. So, yeah, this is going to be a very interesting episode.
I'm very frightened for the end of this because I've called myself a Harry Potter fan for years and I have a feeling it's all going to come crashing down.
Okay, so we're going to do that at the end. So first thing we're going to do is start with our review of the Deathly Hallows Part 1.
These are dark times, there is no denying.
So you loved this one.
I love it. I'll stand by that till the day I die. It's the Casino Royale of the Harry Potter series. I think cinematically this is the strongest, best made film. I'm not saying necessarily it's packed with the most story. I'm not saying it's even the best story. I just think it's cinematically so good that it doesn't matter. Anything could have happened in this one. I absolutely love it. And some people don't like this one at all.
Yeah, it's a funny one, this one. I think the reason people like you who critically acclaim it think that because it's almost in a way less a Potter film. It doesn't have the same style at all. It doesn't follow the same structure. There's no Hogwarts. There's no we're going off to school and then doing that part. There's none of that.
Yeah.
I think that's also why a lot of people hate it in comparison to the rest. This is people's worst. I mean, my husband hates this one.
I don't get it.
He just says nothing happens. It's completely boring.
So much happens.
He really doesn't like this one at all. And I've heard so many people say the same things. So I think it's very much depends what camp you're in, and it's for that same reason. I think because it's completely different, you either love it or hate it.
Yeah. Well, we said about the Goblet of Fire being like a bridge film between the first 3 and then the rest of the series, but in that one we sort of said that the plot was kind of irrelevant in Goblet of Fire for the most part. I think Deathly Hallows Part 1 is a bridge as well. But unlike Goblet of Fire, it actually does a lot to gather everything that's happened up until this point.
Oh, you
and
need it.
And a lot of tying off is done in this one, if anything. I think most of the loose ends and whatnot at least start to become tied up in here. And it prepares you for what happens in Part 2, which in my opinion is not so great. So yeah, I think from a story perspective, this film serves a massive purpose.
It flows very well.
Yeah, I think it's very well constructed and the pacing of it is just spot on. And it's the first time really you've actually got to spend time with the characters without any major distractions. You actually get to live with the characters just for a little bit, and you actually learn more about them here than you have done pretty much in any of the films.
Yeah, because you are sitting with them, you're travelling with them. Yeah. You like you say, there's no distractions, there's no tasks obviously they are off on an adventure, I suppose you could say.
But they don't have that structure of it's a school year. I think it's a very natural progression for the series to have made. I don't think, people who are saying that it doesn't follow the structure, therefore it's wrong or it's out of place. This is what was meant to happen. Like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, they're not meant to be kids at school anymore. Literally everyone's dead, and they've been left to kill Hitler, essentially, and they're on their own.
There's so much character development for the three leads in this one, and not only do you learn more about them, but I think they learn more about themselves as well, in a way that they didn't know. I mean, they have been left to, like you say,
fend for themselves,
to deal with things that are so beyond their capabilities, really. And obviously the Horcrux that they end up with really has such a huge effect on personality and feelings and emotions, and I think it was done really, really well. My only issue with Harry Potter, and it's the same thing I would say all the way through, is there's a lot of these really great things in there, but because you're whizzing your way through, you don't really get the chance to stop and appreciate them.
Slow down, yeah. And this is why Deathly Hallows Part 1 is the best Harry Potter film. 100%. Let's start at the beginning. The first thing you get in this one is Bill Nye as Rufus Scrimgeour. He's not in it very much, but by God, I think it's one of his best characters. I don't know why. I genuinely think it's the least like Bill Nye I think I've seen him act, apart from like Davy Jones. He's the new Minister of Magic. Yeah. And it's just such an amazing opener to the film, and he's giving this speech, and he's such a strange character because you don't really know what side he's on initially, because the speech that he gives about the ministry remaining strong and
utter
all
politician's
these
bollocks.
Yeah, but that he almost seems angry when he's saying this, and that he's part of like the bad crew. But then later on, you think, oh, hang on a minute. He's just been killed. And then you think, and then you re-look at that opening scene, and actually, he's not angry. He's terrified. He's absolutely terrified.
Trying to persuade himself and everybody else that everything's okay, and it really isn't.
Which is what Cornelius Fudge was kind of doing for a long time. But yeah, I just thought that opening is so like sobering. Like there's no music or anything. It's just him.
Yeah.
But then the very next thing you get is a newspaper that Hermione's holding saying Muggle family murdered, shit's going down, basically. Yeah. And this is like the second opening. And we mentioned this in part 2 because of the music. And it's that feeling that the winds have changed. And like we just said, the whole film's very different.
That's a really good way of putting it, actually. It's like the beginning of the end in a way. Like by starting that way, you kind of know we're not going to have the same thing that we've had before.
Yeah, everything that's been a constant up until this point is now just overturned to the point where we get the Dursleys opening bit, but they're leaving, and they're saying it's not safe for us anymore, and that's the first time ever they've kind of acknowledged the world. I
feel like they were really shortchanged again, though. In a really bad way. Like more should have been made of it, and obviously they did film more, but I just feel like at this point, if they're acknowledging that there are things wrong to the point that they're moving, have lived in this house for decades, then Petunia should have said something. She is his last blood relative, and I just feel like there should have been something there, and there wasn't.
Yeah, and that scene that was deleted with her and him is so good and definitely should have stayed. But at the same time, because the whole opening kind of plays out as a montage, I think it's not as good, but I think it's still good that there's a sort of urgency about it that you don't get time, because they don't get time to spend, and it's very hurried, and then obviously what Hermione does with her parents' memory is something that it's now or never.
Brutal. The worst part about it is seeing the photos, seeing it disappear out of the photos, and with the music, and it's just
music's fantastic,
kind of heartbreaking, really.
Yeah, it's such a good opening. It's such a good opening for the film because it means business. I think that's why I like it so much. It's to the point. It's realistic. I say it's realistic. It's realistic to the sense that it's all or nothing. This is it. It's the final stand. Sacrifices are going to have to be made, and they don't shy away from that. That's a long way of saying it, but the opening I think is hugely important just for setting up everything. Another thing we get at the beginning is rather than spending time with Harry or Ron or Hermione, we actually go and spend some time with the bad side,
Yeah.
which we've never really got before. We've never actually just gone and spent time with them, but we go to Malfoy Manor.
It's all from Harry's perspective, always.
Yeah.
So the fact that you get that is very different. I feel like you get Draco Malfoy's perspective in this, very much so, and he's not the same person he was.
No, none of them are really the Malfoys.
No.
They're all... Lucius has just come back from Azkaban.
He looks awful. I feel like what they did with that character is fantastic because he's just dishevelled.
Yeah.
He was this pristine,
very polished character.
Polished guy, not a speck, out of place. And then you look at him now, and he's just the bags under his eyes and the hair, and it's amazing, the transformation.
And they fear Voldemort now, and I think everyone in that room kind of does in a way. Maybe Bellatrix doesn't because she's kind of loopy.
In love with him.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Can I kill him? Basically. But yeah, the bit that I really like, it's a bit dark, but obviously they've got the Muggle Studies teacher hovering above the table, and Voldemort basically murders her in front of everybody. But the reactions of Draco especially, and of Snape, two reluctant Death Eaters.
Yeah.
At this point, we don't know that Snape is a reluctant Death Eater.
Oh, see, I have to mention it. I have to.
Go on.
And I will mention it again, but I watch Snape like a hawk.
Yeah, you do, don't you?
Knowing now what you know.
Yeah.
And Alan Rickman, to a T, is perfection.
Without even moving, sometimes he conveys something.
Yeah. And you think they're wrong. We've been wrong the whole time. And he can do it in barely a look. Like you say, he doesn't move.
Yeah. Sometimes it's his lack of movement that conveys everything that he's thinking.
Yeah. And I think the moment's made so much bigger by Draco's reaction as well. Because, Muggle Studies, he would have scoffed at it. It's not something he would be bothered about. But he's so affected by it.
Yeah.
It's it's part of his childhood, his school.
He's watching a teacher and Snape's watching a friend. But the camera hones in on those two.
Yeah, very well done.
The other thing we get is Nagini is now a key character. We see a lot of her, the snake. Again, not at this point knowing that there's
no, we don't know anything more about her at the moment.
So yeah, I just thought it'd be good to mention that because we haven't really had Voldemort's side except for when he's with Harry. So that's cool. But then the 7 Harrys sequence, this is where Harry's going to be transported.
Yeah. Another moment where I just feel the storytelling's just so good. Like, how'd you come up with that? Like, right, how are we going to get him out? We're going to do Polyjuice Potion for all of these people. They're going to pair up and they're all going to look at Harry. It's just such clever.
And they mention the reason why they can't do it another way as well. I'm pretty sure they mention it, the traces on him and all this stuff. This film didn't skip over the detail. It really got everything right.
Apart from one bit that really bothers me, and it's in this scene.
It's Lupin and Tonks, isn't it?
It absolutely bothers me so much because of what happened to me when I saw the last film, and I will explain that when we go into that. But it just bugs me so much. It's like, why would you say half a line? Why would you give the character half a line and not finish? What's the point?
On reflection, they gave more information than I remember them giving. Like, they give enough for you to understand what's happening, but they just don't say the words as such. Pretty much. They're holding hands, so you go, relationship. And then they go, we've got some news. And then they kind of both glance down at her belly. And then they get interrupted. So I think there's enough there.
Barely.
Yeah, there's other things in the series where you literally are just left to guess what's going on. With this, they gave a hint, and I'll give them that.
I'm not happy about it. It's probably the thing I'm least happy with
in the world. Not enough for us to care about it.
Yeah, if we're in the grand scheme of things, it's very slight, but I don't like it.
No, fair enough. The actual transformation then of Harry into 6 additional Harrys, the visual effects, and that's where they do this 360-degree shot.
Yeah.
And that's where they've done the facial kind of blending. That's where people actually get transformed. But then there's the scene where Harry is all of them, and Daniel Radcliffe plays all of them. And I've got to say, like, comparing his performance here to Philosopher's Stone, oh my goodness, like how far he's come.
Yeah, he's settled, hasn't he?
Yeah.
As an actor.
He really
a lot
took
more.
it seriously as well.
I feel like, you can tell that he is a jobbing actor. He's not just a kid in a movie.
Yeah.
And I feel there are less moments that are jarring for me. That as a kid you think, oh God, what's that moment, or that line, but
it's
he's
very
settled.
smooth acting.
He is settled into it now.
95 takes for that one, technically one shot, because all is happening in that one shot. But yeah, for him to have imitated and studied every other actor and how they move.
95 takes.
95
Think about
in a
that
day.
as a number.
Yeah.
That is insane.
And then obviously it comes to the point where they are having to do the maneuver, and I have to say the relationship, or at least the significance of Hagrid in this moment, and that when he says 16 years ago I carried you into the world, so it only makes sense I carry you out. I like that. And we get a nice
it's the
bit of
only
Hagrid
really
here.
bloody bit we get with Hagrid, to be honest. Especially when we get to the next one as well. It's
the last one is a shame.
Really.
They get like a hug.
Yeah.
But then they get into they take off. I think the taking off is really quite scary feeling. You get that sense that they're going into the unknown.
And that's it. That's the Dursleys gone. That's it. The house. That's it. You're done. You'll never go back. That's it.
Looking at that empty house as well was quite sobering, I think. And when he goes back to the cupboard,
there's no going back from that moment. This is it. He's never going to go back to that house.
Yeah. It's the moment for me where they get through that cloud layer, and in the sky it is just chaos. You know, they've been tipped off, and people are about to die. And this is like, just got little goosebumps, because people do genuinely just start to get picked off one by one now.
It was the moment in the book where I knew she wasn't going to hold back when she killed Hedwig.
Yeah,
I was absolutely devastated. It was
almost such a needless kill as well, wasn't it?
It was so small in a way, because it's an owl, but it meant so much. And I just thought, oh my God, if she's going to do this early and she's going to kill Hedwig, she will go anywhere.
It was almost like chapter by chapter, who dies. You've got to brace yourself.
The pace, apart obviously the beginning, again with every Potter film, is very quick. You've got the Polyjuice transformation, and then they're at the Burrow, and we have Bill and Fleur's wedding. You just Bill just appears.
Oh yeah,
there's this other brother.
Hello,
here we go. Yeah, he's going to get married. We're having a wedding. It's very quick, and obviously then we very quickly from the wedding that gets crashed horribly.
Yeah, everything gets ruined, doesn't it?
Yeah, just a little bit.
I've got to say, actually, when they're at the Burrow and the Minister of Magic comes, it's a great moment, because he's come to read the will of Dumbledore. But there's so many references back to the earlier films now, and things that you didn't think twice about the first time around are actually hugely important at the end. And there's a great sort of circularity of
it's his first snitch.
Yeah, something that you never thought twice about.
Yeah, I think it's very again, it's great storytelling, because all of this was in her head for years. She carried all these things, and they were going to do so much. I cannot fathom how one person can.
It's very tidy, the way she did it.
It's so
There's
well
loads.
done.
I mean, the Illuminator, one of the first things we saw in the franchise.
In the movie,
The Sword of Gryffindor, the Polyjuice Potion, the motorbike. These are all things that were massively important in the first two films, at least, for just for serving those stories, but we didn't realise that they were going to be huge.
It pulls it all back together.
Yeah.
I'm going to push ahead to what I thought was quite a standout moment. Again, another scene that I thought just on its own, very creative, very well done. It was the Ministry infiltration.
Yeah.
So we know that they need that Horcrux, and they need to get into the Ministry because Umbridge has the Horcrux.
Oh, but she's back.
So she's back. Yeah, she's back.
Yeah.
What a surprise. And the moment you see her when the Ministry's taken over by Pius Stickness, and you're listening to what he's saying, and she stood there on the side, and you think, yeah, she really is evil. She's picked a side.
Yeah. She's just this racist piece of shit, isn't she? She is.
She's awful.
I don't know what happened to her in her past, but she is damaged.
She's very prejudiced.
Yeah.
Anything, half-blood, creatures, anything that's not pure, human. She's a bit Hitlerish, like you said. She's awful.
The thing I noticed more about this scene is the details, especially when Harry, dressed as Albert Runcorn, goes into her office. You see like the books that she's got in her desk, How to Spot a Mudblood, things like that. And along the way, you get all the posters. People are putting together flyers of how to spot Muggleborns, how to spot all this stuff. But if you change the word, you said it actually before that if you change the word Muggle or Mudblood to Jew, she's basically written a Holocaust story.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
It's bang on though as well how it happens, and that political corruption that we glimpsed back in number 5. This is where it was heading. Yeah.
Now, going back to Runcorn, so again, we've got another transformation, and it requires what I think is really amazing acting, because you've got 3 unknown actors just come in to play the part, but they are playing our leads that we have followed for 6 other films, who we know the movements of, the attitude, the way they walk, the way they stand, the way they, the way they do everything. And I just think it's really cleverly done.
You believe that it's them. Obviously, the film's made the choice of keeping the voices of the original people, which I think is good, and I get why.
Yeah, I know why they did it, but I don't
follow it and stuff.
Yeah, I don't really like it.
It is a bit jarring sometimes. They've had to put unnatural pauses in to catch up with the lip syncing. Sometimes it's a bit Muggleborns because But I see why they did it.
I just think the whole scene is very, very clever. It's very dark. It brings it all to life. Like, obviously, they reveal themselves, take the Horcrux, they get chased out, and then you get the Splinch.
Splinchy. Which is a word that we've never come across in the franchise, but it didn't feel wrong. Because Hermione said it in such a way that he's been splinched.
And you could
see what it meant.
Yeah. And it's the first time, like, you see, like, some real damage. I mean, obviously, he's hurt his leg before, Ron, and you've had, like, a few broken bones and cuts and scratches and things. But they've always just
gone to the hospital wing.
Yeah, they're on their own. They're stuck, and it's from that moment, I think, you really see a change in Ron.
Yes.
And obviously, they now have the Horcrux.
The locket, yeah.
What's really clever about this, and you'll have noticed this, there's that squeak. It's this
like a
awful.
It is like a squeak, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a screeching, squeaky,
ringing noise.
Yeah, and it's always there. It's ever present.
It's that sound that all the Horcruxes end up having, apart from the diary and the other one.
Yeah. When they're wearing it, you can hear it in the background. You hear it when, not long after that, when they start to travel, we have this montage, and you get the list of missing witches and wizards on the radio, but with this squeak as well.
It's the presence of Voldemort, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's him, and it's that atmosphere.
It's a very subtle but powerful, almost subconscious message. I can understand Ron's pissed off. I do get it. You get this weakness in Ron.
And Dumbledore predicted it.
Yeah, we've seen it before in The Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault. It's always having other people. He's got all of these brothers, and he's got this friend who he loves, who's the cleverest, and his best friend's Harry Potter. And there's always something. And there's that doubt about his relationship with Hermione, and that the locket brings that out.
Yeah.
It just makes it huge, and that's all he can see. And all of the doubt and the anger, them not knowing what they're doing, not having a solution, it just boils over.
Ron needs validation, and I think it's interesting that he's the one who's got the most family.
Yeah.
But almost that set him up to be that way in a way, because that's what he's used to. Harry has never had a family, and
the other two can get themselves through.
Yeah, Hermione's, although it was horrible, but she's got that safety net of knowing that her parents don't even remember her anymore, so how could they be in danger? And they went to Australia or something in the books.
Yeah. I notice in this as well, you never see Hermione overcome by the necklace. I just feel like she has this inner strength that the boys don't have.
Yeah.
She just is able to get through. She keeps things together.
And she recognises when it's time to take it off.
Yeah.
You know, she tells the other ones to take it off, give it to me.
Yeah,
for
you've
a bit.
had enough. That's it. Take it off.
Harry's going to have to lead the quest.
Yeah.
But Hermione's got to manage it.
But he would be overcome without her.
Yeah. You do get that feeling that they've all, in a way, got a part to play, which is why they work so well as a trio. So that when Ron leaves, they get really sad.
I was so devastated. Well, the way she's shouting him, I was just so devastated for her. Really, she played that really well.
In that moment, I really thought back to 3 11-year-olds deciding to go through the trapdoor and then looking at them now, and I just thought, oh my goodness, they've gone through hell.
Yeah, and he has willingly left.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, I think when you hear her yell as he leaves, because you hear him disapparate, you never think he's going to do it. Because if he does, he won't find them, that's it. Yeah. If he goes, he goes. Like, and even Harry, you see this look on his face, like he left. Yeah. You never think he's going to go because they've had things before and they go through like little things, but that's it.
The strain on them, and they're all broken, aren't they? They don't have a clue what's going on.
Yeah, there's a moment that you see when they leave, when they disapparate themselves, and Hermione just crumples because she knows now they've left, that's it. He can't follow them. He won't be able to find where they are. And she knows that. And she just crumples, and I just my heart just goes out to her.
Yeah, it's a very good moment.
There's so many little moments for them in this one, like when they go to Grimmauld Place, they're playing the piano, and you see them asleep, and their hands are really close together, like they fell asleep holding hands. And there's lots of things like pushing their relationship in this one.
Yeah, this whole film is a test for them, isn't it? It's a test of how they can cope.
I think it's really well done. I think Emma Watson really nailed that.
Yeah,
absolutely
she's nailed all of them really fast.
She's the best one out of all of them as far as I'm concerned. She's always nailed it.
This is a good time to mention, with Ron gone, there's a scene that was added into the film where Harry gets up. Oh, that wasn't a good sound. I think this is a fantastic addition.
Yeah, I know you really like it.
To the film. I think a lot of people like this,
dance.
Actually. Yeah, just for a moment, she's sat with the radio, which is what Ron used to do, and Harry looks over and he goes, "You know what?
Yeah, we need something."
Yeah. And he sort of just distracts her, and it works for the audience as well. I think for a moment you find yourself just sort of weirdly grinning at this when you haven't done that so far.
You might have done. Right.
I think it's a brilliant moment.
My relationship with this scene, the first time I saw it, I was horrified. I can't handle cheesy at all. I just can't. I usually skip cheesy. Anything cheesy in a movie, I just fast forward.
As if there hasn't been a lot of cheesy moments in Harry Potter so far, Surprised you even agreed to do this.
This is like to the extreme. I just found it really hard to watch. The first time I saw it, I really did. I was horrified. I was like, what the hell is this? Why would you do this?
I thought it was
I have to admit, I've always found it really difficult to watch, but it's becoming more bearable as I get older.
Yes, it is.
I think more about the acting in the scene rather than just the scene itself. And it is very clever. It really does create a moment. You see that bond. It really is there.
Yeah. For me, it's another moment like in The Half-Blood Prince, where there's moments where they let the actors just not improvise, but just to sort of be, and they'll show them, laughing,
more character development
and stuff like that. And although this was obviously a very planned scene, it serves a similar purpose in that you just watch.
It's huge character development. We never get that in the films, but like there's no time for character development in most of the films because there's so much going on. There's so much plot. You never get time for character development. It's kind of slipped in here and there.
And if anything, this is what the film's about, this one.
Yeah.
And people say there's not a lot happening, but it's about the characters, this one.
What I think's so sad as well is they are so like brother and sister, but Ron doesn't see it that way. He sees it as this romantic thing. You can't see it the way it really is.
Yeah.
That's what's so upsetting. And there's a bit in the book, and I feel like they should have done it when Ron does come back, and he destroys the Horcrux. In the book, there's a moment afterwards. Harry says, "It's never been like that. I thought you knew." I felt like that line should have been there.
Yeah, just to sort of clarify.
It mended things for them.
Yeah.
Because Ron had started to see Harry as a rival.
Yeah.
And he never was. It never existed. It was all in his head.
Yeah. That destroying the locket sequence is really interesting for that, because it does show him some quite horrible things.
I have to say, when Ron does come back and they go back to Hermione, this is the one time I will allow the use of the word Ronald Weasley.
Oh, okay.
Because
yeah,
it's
when
so
she throws leaves
that
at him.
name. She throws leaves at him. Yeah, totally does. But
Ronald Weasley. Leaves in face.
It's very much deserved that full name use there.
Yeah.
It's because he's been a prick.
You have Mary's permission.
It's the one time that I don't mind her saying Ronald instead of Ron.
Fair
have
enough.
to mention it in there.
It is, yeah, it's a very good moment.
And from there as well, I love that there is a real change in Ron again. He's kind of split into three parts. You've got before he gets hurt, and then obviously after that. But when he comes back, there's two things. There's really everything is like, oh, it's all yes, I totally agree. Should we vote? And I love that look she gives him, like, what the fuck?
She knows exactly what he's trying to do.
I know what you're doing. But also as well, he's more active in his decisions.
Yeah.
In like, we're going to do this. This is how we do this, and you see that a lot more in part 2 as well.
He wasn't really on board before this, was he? He was just going along because they've always done it.
All of the other films as well, it's always more, I mean, Hermione knows the more magic, so she does things, and Harry's very, he's the hero, proactive. And Ron just kind of goes along with things. But in I think from that moment when he comes back, it's like he's really invested himself into it.
Yeah.
He wants to be there. He knows he's made a mistake, and he becomes more active.
Yeah, it's always been interesting, like what was his role, because Harry was like the chosen one and Hermione was the knowledgeable one, and Ron was always just kind of comic relief. But I think he does sort of almost become, he completes the circle, doesn't he? He fills in everything else.
It is Hermione's idea to go to see Xenophilius Lovegood, but it's Ron that gets them there, I think. It's like, we're going. This is what we're going to make this decision. We'll go in there. He's such a strange character. Very well cast, I think, but really very, very strange character.
Really not in a good place when we find him this time around. He's kind of, I mean, he makes some questionable decisions.
He does, yeah. But that tea for a start.
Whatever it was. Other than the Horcruxes, I mean, it's in the title, the other side of the story here really is the Deathly Hallows and the accidental discovery of what these are and why they're important. Obviously starts with the will and what Dumbledore's left them with, and some kind of clues and a recurring symbol, this triangle with the circle and the line down the middle, and we see that quite a few times. The gravestone at Godric's Hollow, the necklace that Xenophilius is wearing at the wedding, the book, it's drawn in the book that Hermione was left. Yeah,
so she's left a book.
Oh yes,
it makes perfect sense.
But it's never just a book. Another thing that they did in Deathly Hallows Part 1 that was kind of a little bit out there, and that's the animated Tale of the Three Brothers sequence, which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah, brilliant.
And again,
it's
just
so
they were bringing
not Potter,
stuff to the films.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and this is why cinematically it's the best one.
I think it works well, but it's such a beautiful animation,
and the narration with it as well. It just
she does it so well.
You don't feel like you've been taken out of the film at all. It's seamless, and when you come back in again,
no, not at all. It is magical. And then we
end up getting captured.
Yeah, I do think the scene in Malfoy Manor is very good. Yeah. Again, Emma Watson, her screaming when she's getting tortured.
Another highlight of the film.
It grates on my bones. She is acting her heart out there, and I totally believe it. Yeah, totally.
Up until this point, I mean, we've only had her since the 5th film, but Bellatrix, played by Helena Bonham Carter, I think was almost a bit silly. I remember it being better the first times I watched the film. She is a caricature, that's the word I'm looking for. She is a caricature of all of these bad things, a villainess. Yeah. And she's more grounded as an actual real person in this one. Yeah. She sort of went from being kind of non-threatening to being actually very dangerous and willing to torture people. And I can't believe she scrawled mudblood on her arm. God, just horrendous. And we get Dobby back. I know you're not
huge on Dobby, but this
No, I
is
like Dobby
Dobby's
now.
moment.
Dobby in Chamber of Secrets is just annoying. But in this one, he's actually all right.
This is Dobby's time to shine, and it is fabulous.
I almost forget that he's fighting his old masters in his old house that he used to serve. So,
but this, like, Bellatrix Lestrange as well, again in a little bit like Umbridge, is like her entitlement as a pureblood is how are you elf? How are you even daring to come against us?
Yeah.
And Dobby, I just love that. I love the fact that they just look up and he's like just squeaking the chandelier. He's just unscrewing it. And I have to say, because it just fits so well, he has my favourite line in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
I've only written one on this one. Usually there's more than one, but I don't think there's that many great lines in this one.
We've always written comedy lines, and I don't think there's many comedy lines in this one.
It was either his really inspirational line, which obviously is amazing, but it is the comedy line I've gone for because it just really makes me laugh. Dobby never meant to kill, only maim or seriously injure. I just think that's brilliant. Really well done. And it's a weird way to almost end the film because obviously we know he helps them escape, but he dies, unfortunately. And I mean, she really just didn't hold back. She killed Dobby. I mean,
she killed quite a few in this, yeah. It was definitely more emotional than I remember, but I think because we've watched the films in quick succession, I think. But it's that feeling of, especially on Harry's face, it's this rising death toll of innocent lives, not for him, but
he
because
thinks it's for him, though.
Yeah.
The way he views it is it's for him, and if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't happen.
Yeah, and Dobby's maybe the most like innocent of them all, although he was a bit of a shit in Chamber of Secrets.
I know, but his last words are Harry Potter.
Yeah,
it's just, I mean, because he adores him, and I just think it's so sad, and it's a strange place to end the film. Like there were two openings, there's two endings, so you get the burying of Dobby, and that's kind of the first ending, and then you get Voldemort and him
claiming
going
the
to
Elder Wand.
The grave of Dumbledore and taking the wand.
Yeah.
Which I've always found a little bit weird because it's been a year, pretty much. I mean, it's supposed to be the majority of a year.
Yeah.
And Dumbledore's like still
juicy.
He's not like decomposing or skeletal.
He's
Nothing. He's just absolutely. I know
way.
It must be. It must be magic.
Yeah.
I will just take it as that. I always found it really odd that he just opened it and said, "Oh."
Also, it was still very disturbing that Voldemort kind of just like the way he leans right into him and takes it. But yeah, I love the cliffhanger.
Dumbledore's wand was the Elder Wand. Voldemort's got it. Dobby's died. We've had a death toll already.
Yep.
What the hell are they going to do if he's got the most powerful one? It's like it ends very much on a cliffhanger, but with no hope. You're like, well, what the hell are they going to do now?
You really don't stand a chance.
Let's talk about what your favourite moment in the movie was.
Yeah, I think the torture scene was done very well. I love the opening montage. I love the Seven Harrys. I love the tale of the three brothers. There's one scene, it's not my favourite, but there's a bit where Hermione's giving Harry a haircut. And she goes, "Oh my God." And he goes, "What?" He's like touching the back of his head. Oh, that was quite good. But no, I'm going to have to go with the tent dance, purely because it was an addition to the film. It wasn't even like adapted from the book. They decided to put that in, and just how well I think it works.
Yeah.
I'm going for the tent dance scene.
I found this very difficult because I thought all of the film was done very well. I found it really hard to pick out a moment that I thought was like a favourite moment. I suppose I would have to go for the moment when Ron comes back. I think as an actor, he really was given a moment to like shine there.
Yeah.
And when he explains how the Deluminator kind of
cheesy moment,
that ball of light goes into, I just thought it was lovely, and it was really well done. Don't think it completely worked on Hermione, but I liked it. And also Dobby saving the day, I thought that bit was really good as well.
So was your favourite quote the Dobby?
It was, yeah. Never meant to kill, only maim or seriously injure.
The only other ones I really wrote down were there's some during the polyjuice potion, and he says it tastes like goblin piss, and Fred and George saying, "Wow, we're identical." I think that's quite funny. There's a bit where they have to flush themselves into the ministry, and you just see Ron as Reg Catamol's eyes over the thing going, "It's bloody disgusting." But no, in fact, no, it's similar to that. It's Ron as Reg going, "What am I going to do? My wife's all alone downstairs." And Harry goes, "Ron, you don't have a wife."
I don't have a wife.
And he goes, "Oh, right, yeah." Just like the idea that he's so into the character of who he's become.
So who's your standout character for this one?
It'd be so easy to write Hermione for all of them, so I'm not doing that. I think Dobby was good. I thought Bellatrix was better. I thought Scrimgeour was great, but I've not given one to Harry yet. And based on the Seven Harrys scene and the scene at the gravestone of his parents and a lot of other scenes in the film, I'm going to give this one to Harry. I think Daniel Radcliffe deserved.
Yeah,
this
it's
one.
fair. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, look, going against what you just said, I am going with Hermione.
Fair enough.
Because I think, like I said earlier, I just think she keeps everything together.
Yeah.
I mean, God, without her bag, bloody hell.
Without her bag.
For a start, just
bag
the bag.
keeps everything together.
Just the fact that she's just so organised. Without that bag, they'd be stuffed.
Undetectable extension charm.
But I really do. I think she has this inner strength, and she is not brought to her knees like the two boys are, and she's able to keep them going. Because we lose Rupert Grint for a portion of the film, she's given more space. So and I obviously just love Hermione. So, as we've already learned,
I think we're pretty much on the same page on that film, really.
Yeah, surprising. Now it's all going to go wrong because we're very much going to be off kilter, I think, with this one. We are not going to end on the same page, I don't think.
When have any of our plans ever actually worked? We plan, we get there, all hell breaks loose.
I don't know if I don't enjoy part 2 so much because part 1 is so well constructed and every choice felt very thought through and deliberate.
There is a pattern with you, though, isn't there? Like you've just mentioned, you do
really.
like part 1s.
I like part 1s more than ending.
And part 2s don't always work very well for you.
But it's got nothing to do with the fact that it's the end or an ending or the end of a story. It's literally just, cinematically speaking, I think Deathly Hallows part 2, it felt like they were rushing to get to the end. There were decisions that I, all the way through, just think, I wish they'd done that better. I wish they'd done that better. I wish they'd done that better.
But I remember at some point you mentioning, and we're going back a while, that you felt it was very much fan serviced.
Yeah.
That there were moments there that you didn't think needed to be there, that they were obviously there for the fans.
Maybe not so much they put stuff in, but the way they delivered certain things was just meant to make people cheer and go, woo, ooh, flashing lights, yay.
Very much fan servicing.
I watched them back to back. I literally finished one and put the next one on, and immediately I started going, that's not done very well. That scripting's weird. You know what I mean? And I'm very objective about things. The fact that I then suddenly started writing, that was weird. Why did they say that? I felt a very big shift and a dip in quality. Like it was suddenly rushed, and not as much thought had gone into it.
And it is more rushed. The pace has to change here, I think, because there's so much to get in.
But it was a half an hour shorter than part 1. I don't get it.
The first half an hour, there's quite a lot of stuff in there, but then we are literally from half an hour in, the rest is the Battle of Hogwarts.
Yeah. But that's the better bit. I will say that it does get better once they're
they
at
get
Hogwarts.
to Hogwarts, yeah, I have to admit.
The first half an hour, there's very little that I enjoy.
Well, let's get in there. So immediately, the score.
It's a good introduction. I like that bit.
Can tell it is. I mean, this score has gone up a notch. It's haunting. You can't help but notice the score. I think in this one, it's so noticeable for its quality.
It's interesting that they brought in a brand new theme just for the end.
Yeah.
You knew that must have had some significance. I do like the opening shot we get. You know, we've not seen Hogwarts for a whole film, and it's a very bleak glimpse, and you've got the Dementors and the marching kids and Snape.
I just wondered, where the hell had they been?
I don't know.
They're marching from the bridge. Where have they been? And then we very quickly rush into a very quick explanation going through like the wand and finding out where they need to be and what they need to do next.
I have big issues here. With Ollivander, this whole idea of winning wands has come so left field. By his logic, everybody's wands would be someone else's by this point, because think of how many duels we've watched and the fights we've watched and how many Expelliarmuses we saw in the room required. No one would have the same wand anymore, so this doesn't really make sense to me.
I get where you're coming from, but I think it's more when it's just disarming in a general sense, the wands are given back. But when we come to like something like
when you actually
what
killed
happens
someone
to Dumbledore, and what happens with Harry and Draco, there's a finality to it, and I feel like what Ollivander's trying to say is wands are very aware. There's an awareness to them.
It was just very strange that he said he reiterated that the wand chooses the wizard, and then immediately said, "Unless you've won the wand, and then in which case it's yours." So the wand doesn't really choose.
I think it's more like the wands have, like Harry says, the wands have feelings. They are self-aware, and there are choices involved.
Yeah, I just thought it was a very big, game-changing concept to introduce now. Yeah. Again, if that's in the book, fine. But it just felt a bit like, oh, by the way, everything you've ever known about wands is now changed, and you go, oh, right, okay. And the whole film becomes about wands. Then, like,
it is a huge factor, and it is the most important factor coming towards the end, which we will go into later. So we then have a huge Gringotts scene. We saw in part 1 that the hair of Bellatrix Lestrange lands on Hermione.
Yeah.
I think Helena Bonham Carter is brilliant here. I think she's superb in the Polyjuice scene. Again, the transformation, I think the attitude, the stance, everything. I mean, like we were just saying, Bellatrix is a caricature of this villain, and we know everything about her, and then all of a sudden Hermione is Bellatrix, and everything about her changes, the stance and the attitude of her and everything. It becomes something totally different, and that's all Helena Bonham Carter. And I think she's superb in that. The one thing I don't like,
the voice,
which I don't think they should have done, was keep Emma Watson's voice.
They
should have let Helena Bonham Carter do it, because she could have pulled it off. Yeah. She could have done it, and she could have done it really well, and I don't think they needed Emma Watson to do that.
Or even they could have gotten Emma Watson to do more of a Bellatrix impersonation.
Yeah.
It's like she didn't put any effort in, Hermione. She didn't get it.
I literally haven't got anything written down after that for like a good... until we get to Hogwarts, actually, which I think says something. Like you say, there is a dip in quality. I don't think the Gringotts
I really don't like it.
Is as good as the rest.
Yeah.
It's extremely relevant and needed, obviously, to get the next Horcrux. And the dragon gets them away.
I like the dragon bit. I like the dragon escape.
I like the special effects they use there. It's this emaciated dragon.
Yeah.
It's this broken, injured dragon. I think that was very, very well done.
Yeah, the visual effects are really good. I think it was jarring that, like, a couple of shots earlier we were inside the vault, and the sort of Gemino curse thing to me didn't look particularly very real. I just thought it looked a bit cartoonish and wasn't really reacting with Harry's body as he was moving it. It just looked like it was a little bit cheap.
The moment for me that didn't work for it, it's just the details that have missed out of the book, but you do see them putting on the dittany later, is this, the Gemini curse. They're supposed to burn. It's supposed to burn them when they're touched by stuff. That's why it's more dangerous as well, and that's why they would be killed in the vault, because it would...
Yeah,
they would be smothered and burned.
I noticed them putting stuff on their hands, but I didn't join the dots of why
are they doing
it.
that? Yeah, because they never tell you.
When you've just had part 1 giving so much detail and everything's really logically laid out, this one so far, there's a bit actually on the... In fact, there's already been 2 weird choices of words in the script. So the first one was when they're talking with Griphook about the Sword of Gryffindor is missing from Bellatrix's vault. Hermione says, "Who's the acquaintance?" And there's been absolutely no mention of any other person apart from Bellatrix at this point. So, like, what are you on about? What do you mean, who's the acquaintance? And then there's a bit on the cart going down to the vault where Harry sees a random waterfall beneath him, and he goes, "What is that, Griphook?" That's a waterfall, Harry. With no knowledge that they're about to just go under it. You know what I mean? It's just very strange choices. And then the whole Imperious Curse. I'm sure that wasn't how the Imperious Curse worked in other films. I'll mention a few more as we go, but in fact it's about to carry on because we get into Hogsmeade and Aberforth, Dumbledore. Another scene I just thought...
Thrown in there.
Yeah.
Because obviously he needs to be there for them getting in.
At least, actually, in this scene, at least we get a bit of an explanation about what this shard of glass is that Harry's been holding. It was my only gripe from part 1 is that they didn't explain where he'd got it from.
Now, it was something that was left to Harry. Now, Harry had a mirror and Sirius had the other half. Now, it was really weird because in the book as well, she didn't make anything of it. So why the fuck was he using fires and stuff when they could have just used this mirror? I don't know, obviously maybe they can't talk to each other through it. But, I mean, if he asked for help and Dobby came, they obviously were able to communicate in some way. Yeah. But in the book, she never makes anything of it, really. It's never used by Sirius and Harry. Just that he has it.
Yeah. But what's really bad is that in this scene, although we're getting an explanation of it, it almost made it worse because the explanation wasn't very good either. And I kind of thought, you know what, I preferred it when it was not explained, which is pretty bad.
Maybe if they'd have given us the backing earlier on, like we should have had, it would have fit. But again, because it's just kind of thrown on you.
Yeah, and the other thing is Dumbledore's backstory here as well. Again, it's almost like they're making an effort to give you something, but eventually they just give you absolutely nothing.
Dumbledore sacrificed.
Hermione says she was your sister, and then he says he sacrificed many things, and then leaves the room, and it's like, well, are you saying that he literally ritually sacrificed his sister? Okay, let's move on.
It doesn't explain what happened, or we're left a little bit shallow, I would say. The problem with this film is it leaves things shallow, and like a lot of the other films, there's so much more depth because of detail, and we don't get the detail because there's no time.
Yeah, at this moment in time, obviously this is the 30-minute mark, and I will say things do get better from here. Can you see why I wasn't really enjoying this?
Yes, I can see it. Takes a while to get going. That first half an hour, you're waiting to get to Hogwarts, so the rest of it's just filler.
But it's bad filler. I just think it's not. I just don't think it's great at all. I don't think anything was done in a way that I said, I love how they did that. Nothing, nothing so far blew me away, and I kind of hate that.
So let's push on.
Yes, arrival back at Hogwarts.
To get to Hogwarts.
Via painting.
All of that. I again don't like how they've done the room of crime and all the kids in there and stuff, because they're supposed to be hiding, not going out and then...
And they do a lot of cheering and clapping with happy Harry Potter music. And I'm just like, stop ruining the darkness that they've just spent so long setting up.
The thing I have mentioned, what I do like, is I love the Harry's Great Hall revelation.
Yes,
and McGonagall. Oh, just McGonagall from this moment.
Yeah,
McGonagall is just amazing. So she pushes him out of the way, and this is where it's another moment. I'm watching Snape. We should have known from there. Really, he makes no move against her whatsoever.
No,
he only
just
blocks.
Deflects.
Yeah. He won't hurt her.
Yeah,
and I think we should have got it something from there. If you hadn't seen anything, you should have seen that there was something.
It's a shame, like we said last time, that we'd already read the book by this point.
Yes.
But yeah, even if you hadn't, even from that opening shot of him looking down at this horrible bleak Hogwarts, you know there's something behind his eyes, and that there will be some kind of revelation.
Yeah.
But
I love McGonagall. I think, and when she's, it's good to see you, Potter, and she really gets some great moments.
Yeah, she's not strict anymore, is she? She's like, Harry, you do what you have to do.
Yeah, she disappears a little bit after the preparing for the battle. I would have liked to have seen her fighting, because she's a formidable witch.
In any other context, that would be an insult.
But in a great, she could do some real damage, and you see what she does to protect the castle. So
the statues bit is great.
She could have done. I would have liked to see her fighting, actually doing something, because they even give Aberforth a moment, really, and you don't get to see her in flight. You just see her going, run back into the castle.
Get back in.
Like, that's it.
Is that the last time we actually see her?
We see her later on, obviously, when they all amass together and things, but
it's nothing
in terms of the fight itself and any of the montages. I didn't picture her in that at all, and I would have liked to see that.
I like how she lets Seamus and Neville blow up the bridge.
Yes, boom.
Yeah. a particular proclivity for pyrotechnics.
Yes, she has some great lines in this. She really
it's
does.
exactly what we needed from her.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've waited
And
so long.
she just does it
Owned
to
it.
perfection.
Yeah.
Maggie Smith is just fabulous. Now, the next moment that really struck me was when you first see the Death Eaters like amassed above Hogwarts.
Yeah.
There's just this feeling of immenseness.
Yeah.
It's like this is what we've been waiting a decade for.
Yeah.
The Battle of Hogwarts, and I love the preparing the castle, and I love McGonagall. I've always wanted to do that spell, and all of that.
Good.
Though my one moment with that, I love McGonagall in it, but what's Molly Weasley doing? Like her reaction to that is just nothing. She just looks so serious and she doesn't react.
The Chamber of Secrets bit arrives next. First time that you see Ron and Hermione get it on.
Oh, right. Yes, of course it is I suppose it's important. I'm a little bit disappointed.
Yeah, here we go.
I love it as a moment because it needed to be there. We've waited for it.
But is it a bit throwaway moment?
Yeah, it's a little bit throwaway. And why the hell is Ron's head covering it? Why can't we see the kiss? Don't like that. I wanted to actually see it. All you can see is the back of Ron's dripping head, really.
Not an image I was expecting to have.
I was slightly disappointed with the positioning.
I like that they kept in the little laugh at the end, because I think there was a bit of
nice.
Obviously there was a bit of a behind the scenes nudge, wink there that they didn't enjoy doing it because they were kind of nervous. The next thing is the whole and I've got to say, the process of finding Horcruxes all of a sudden was the easiest quest in the history of anything. Going to see the Grey Lady and then the Room of Requirement to get the diadem, which Luna instantly identified as a Horcrux.
Well, it's details in the book that help you link these things. So in the book, you know that they're significant items that Tom Riddle wouldn't just make it out of anything. It would have to be something that was of magical relevance, that was special. That they don't explain that in the film.
They jump off the dragon and Harry has a vision in the water of literally Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
I just thought, really? Is it getting that easy now? And then the second he gets, he's like, oh, possibly something to do with Ravenclaw. And she goes, what about the diadem? Yeah, that'll be it. And then they go and get it. And then he finds it in a box instantly in the Room Requirement.
So wow. This again, in the book, he's already seen it. So when he hides the Half-Blood Prince book, he places it somewhere and he puts a wig and a tiara on the bust of a man, makes sense, and that's how he remembers where the book was.
But not mentioned in the film.
And it's the diadem that he put on the bust. So he's seen it already, but obviously there's no mention of that. In the film, they do it by his feeling the Horcrux, you know. So, which I suppose works for what they've done before, but...
Yeah. Disappointing, though. Too easy.
Yeah.
Draco's moment sort of comes here. Don't know how he got into the castle, but he did. Literally just turns up inside.
He does.
And this sort of fire thing with Goyle and Zabini.
Fiend fire. I think it's interesting to see this scene because Draco is not an inherently evil person, I don't think. I think he's all talk, always has been.
And does what he's told.
Goyle is evil.
Yeah,
he is actually just bad. He's just like, kill him, just do it. Yeah. You know, he's got no filter. He doesn't have to stop and think about it. He would just do it.
Yeah, that's good.
Completely.
And then he falls to his death.
Yeah,
burns alive.
But I think it's interesting to note that comparison between the two. You get that there.
Yeah, I think Harry going back to save Draco as well is a massive moment. Maybe more could have been made of it, but.
Yeah, I think he did it because he didn't say...
Yeah, he didn't give him up at the manor.
And he does ask him why, but why would you do that? Why wouldn't he give him up?
Yeah.
You know, he's hated him all the time they've been together. But it's because he's not an inherently bad person. He's not an evil person.
And Harry's seen him, fail to kill Dumbledore, fail to identify him. I think he kind of gets it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like that bit.
Human moment, yeah.
Yeah. But then back out the side, fighting. Not as much fighting as I think I would have hoped for from the battle.
There's the battle montage, isn't there? Which I do
the
find
courtyard
very
bit.
affecting.
Yeah, I think mostly because of the music. I don't think the actual
it is
things
the
that are
music, but
happening
it's
are really-
also the what's her name?
Lavender's dead.
Lavender, that's it. Yeah,
getting her face mauled.
I just think it's very sad. It's just bittersweet, isn't it? And I think the music, but not just. It's not just the fighting; it's the destruction. It's everything you've known. Like when it first starts, you see the Quidditch pitch like being burnt and all of the castles being destroyed. It's like it's this structure, this immovable structure that we've known since the beginning that just seems so. It seems like it'll be there forever.
Yeah,
and it is literally being torn apart.
Yeah, and it was its own character, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think that with the music is the moment. It's not necessarily seeing people fight. It's the pure destruction of everything is what makes it so moving.
Yeah, it's sort of within this stage of the battle that a lot of the main character deaths happen.
Off screen that we don't see and we have no idea about them. Yeah.
Lavender we kind of see for 2 seconds.
You see the Lavender bit in the book. You don't see Remus and Tonks. That's reveals when they go into the hall in the book as well as the film.
You get one shot of them dead on the floor and then no one ever mentions them.
So this is my biggest gripe with the film. My biggest thing, the deaths are just brushed over it. It's like a matter of seconds. You get no chance to feel them. There's like poof, moved on.
Yep.
That is my biggest issue, and my biggest memory of reading the last book is Fred Weasley's death.
Right.
It had such an impact. I had never to date cried so badly at a book. Because I wasn't expecting it for a start, and it was in almost a comedy moment. Percy was with them, and then it just happened, and he just died, and Percy was devastated. And crying over him, and I was absolutely sobbing. I had to close the book. I couldn't read. I was just crying so badly, and they took that away in the film from me, and it was such a big moment. And obviously, it's a really personal moment for me. It wouldn't have. I mean, most people probably didn't have that kind of reaction to it, or it might have been a much smaller moment to them. But for me, because it's such a big memory of reading the books, I felt robbed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because he was just, he's there on the floor, and Ron goes over and he's a bit upset, and that's it. And you're done. And it's like, are you kidding me?
All the things that part one did well, the detail, the development, the depth, and the pace, none of that existed in part two. Just none of it. It just felt like not a lot of effort when it just sounds awful because probably a lot did, but by comparison with all of the other films,
they didn't have the time.
It felt like they were going, you know what, we need to get to the end. I read in one of the Empire specials on Harry Potter that David Yates said that when he came in on number 5, everything was really planned and storyboarded. He said, when we got to part 2 of Deathly Hallows, we felt like we didn't need to do that. It was much more fluid and we didn't really have to storyboard it as well and stuff like that. And I'm like, I wish you did. I wish he had, because disappointed, I think, is the word.
When you look back, there's moments you think you could have done that better.
Like moment after moment. You know, Half-Blood Prince, we said it was full of great moments, but the overall didn't work.
Yeah.
Deathly Hallows Part 2, it's almost like the overall worked, but the moments just weren't there.
Actually.
The only reason it worked is because it literally was the ending of the story.
And it's big and it's huge,
but not because of anything that happened in it.
Yeah, I would agree with you there, actually. Yeah, there are moments in it that are disappointing to me that I wish were better. Yeah. Okay, so the one bit that does work for me, and I do feel they put the time in, is Snape, obviously. And they were always going to, because it was such a huge thing.
It's actually really the only moment, I think, really in the film that actually has any gravity to it at all.
Because I think they put so much into it. I really do think that they probably agonised to get that right. At Snape's death, we don't know the impact of it. We just think, oh, God, there's Snape. Another, one from the very beginning gone. You don't really exactly feel the impact of it. But I have to admit, the older I get, the watching that scene, the more emotional I feel. I feel so much more for him now as an adult. Like what he did from like the day Lily died was extraordinary. His whole life was built around this act.
Yeah, double agent.
And I just think that because we know that now going in, watching that death scene is really, really moving.
It was quite violent, the actual death as well. I mean, Voldemort slit his throat, but then Nagini really has at him, and he's banging against the window.
Ravaged him,
stuff.
yeah. Oh, it's, yeah.
Actually got me thinking, what if Nagini was the one who actually killed him in the end, and the one belonged to Nagini? I thought that'd be hilarious.
But this is the thing, though. This is the thing. It just goes to show Voldemort has no care for anything, anyone. It doesn't matter, oh, you've been a loyal servant. No, he doesn't care.
Weird that he didn't kill Lucius in a way.
Yeah, he just, there's no feeling in him at all. He just doesn't see things the way other people see things.
No,
He's
true.
completely void of emotion, and apart from rage and fear, which is what drives him.
Yeah.
So from there, we jump to the pensive scene, which
it's quite a long montage. Actually.
It is. I find it so moving. I think Alan Rickman was absolutely stunning. Like you said, the gravity of the scene. He's known what was coming for years, so he'll have known how big this was and how he had to pull it off.
And up until this point, he's never had to show any real emotion,
no,
really,
nothing,
in a good way. He's not had to. He's had to be very still. And
yes, he's very dry, isn't he? Still, yeah. He and the way that he delivers all his lines as well. It's very slow and precise.
So when you see him sort of cradling Lily's body, like in front
And
of baby Harry.
Oh.
Not only is it a massive revelation that he was there that night, it rewrites what you think you've known about that moment.
Oh, well, this is what I've written. This is such a character revelation. I think back to reading that for the first time. It is absolute storytelling genius. All of this time, we have been completely deceived. We've been so wrong. We've been led the entire time to think about this character, and it's wiped away. And this whole new storyline is created for this character, and it's immense. I just think it's genius.
It was the first time I remember people talking about a book twist.
Yeah.
Ever. It wasn't just big, it was huge.
Because we've known him as a character all the way through. This isn't just like a revelation of someone who's in the background. We know him. We think we know him all the way through for 7 books, and for them to just take that away from you.
I'd even say it's one of the best literary twists I've come across. Anyway, I don't read much.
Because it forces you. You've hated this man, and it forces you to feel for him, to change everything you felt about him.
Yeah, and the very start of Harry's story, which is essentially parents being murdered, didn't happen how we thought it.
No.
Well, it did, but it didn't happen exactly as we thought.
It's just incredible. I think she is an absolute genius. And I think that is brilliantly edited, brilliantly acted. I think the scenes between Dumbledore and Snape in the pensive, I think they're really well done as well. And it explains everything, like he killed him for a reason. He was asked to do it, and it makes so much more sense of everything. And it's
I actually wrote
brilliantly
that
done.
the montage serves so many different purposes. So there's not just explaining Snape and Lily. It then explains Dumbledore's hand. It explains Snape and Dumbledore, Snape and Voldemort, Snape and Harry. And then the reason for Harry's connection with Voldemort is explained. The explanation of the Doe Patronus. The realisation of what Harry needs to do next. I mean, I already counted 7 on my fingers. Like Draco's mission and his involvement in that. The assassination of Dumbledore. The night of Harry's murder. That's 10 things so far. All bundled into this, I don't know how long it is, maybe like 5-minute montage or
it's
something.
It's a huge revelation, and I do think they really did perfect it. I think Alan Rickman absolutely nailed it. I just cried the whole way through.
I think from the pensive up until especially him just coming back down the stairs to Ron and Hermione.
Yeah.
It's like the Green Mile, isn't it? He's walking to his death.
And he says Hermione knew as well.
Yeah.
I think you've known.
Yeah. Hermione's bit where she says, I'll go with you, I think is brilliant. But not so much Ron, who doesn't say
Ron
anything.
just says nothing. There's nothing at all. Although, to be fair, he's just lost his brother. He's probably a bit shell-shocked. Probably not feeling the greatest.
But again, I thought that could have been a little bit...
I know, there's no hug or nothing. It's just like, I'm going to go die. As far as they're concerned, he is actually going to die. He's not going to come back. There's no hug, no bye, nothing.
Yeah.
He just walks away.
And then obviously the snitch opens because it knows he's going to die, and then he gets the resurrection stone.
This is a really moving scene. I think that's lovely.
I wrote down something quite funny. I thought Lupin's only been dead a couple of minutes. You'd think he would still be a bit like, oh.
Right, okay,
oh.
so you've just walked me right into my moment.
Yeah.
So I went to see the midnight showing of the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
The minute it came out, I was going. So
Exactly,
I went to see it. It was packed. Every seat in the cinema was full. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
I've never been to a screening so full in my life. And you can hear a pin drop at this scene, right? And Harry says, Lupin, your son. Bearing in mind, it's completely silent, and someone goes, eh? Like in the whole cinema. And I just thought, yep, exactly.
Yeah. We were waiting for it. Yeah. It was
I was just like, because you wouldn't have a frigging clue. Of course you don't know he's got a son, because they never frigging told you.
I never said.
It summed it up perfectly, and it's my one memory of going to see the film is that guy going, eh?
But isn't it funny again? Like with the mirror shard, the actual explanation of it almost made it worse. If they just left that, it would have been fine. You probably would have just gone and forgotten about it, and it wouldn't have mattered. But the fact that they brought it up again in such a strange way made you go, I kind of wish you hadn't told me. I literally wish that you just hadn't said anything else and just left it as a mystery.
I think apart from that, I think it worked. I think all of the lines are lovely. I love Lily's line, we never left.
Yeah, that's
good. I just, again, crying. I was just crying.
I noticed this time around that Harry says, will you stay with me? Sirius says until the end, and Lily says always, and there's a parallel between Snape and Lily both
always.
using the word always. I never
that has become like the Harry Potter line, hasn't it? Always.
The word.
You see it everywhere. You can get it written places. It's just everywhere. It's become this huge, and rightly so as well, because like we say, it's this,
that's a great line.
Huge thing. But it was Lily's line, we never left. That's the one that really struck me. I just thought, but they all did well, apart from James. They've given all of the other ones more to do. And then I was just like, well, that's his dad. Yeah,
you don't get a strong connection between.
No.
It's always been, you have your mother's eyes and you're a little shit like your dad. You know what I mean? You never really get that sense of the strong bond.
Realistically, though, I suppose, his father figure was Sirius.
Yeah,
he had that relationship with Sirius because he never got a relationship with his dad. So there is more with Sirius there. I do think after that, there is a tiny slip in quality, I think, from there. You've had the pensieve, you've had that scene, he goes to die.
Yeah, all of that there I'd consider the best part of the film.
Yeah, from the battle, as soon as they get back to Hogwarts, up to there, I think, fab. Yeah. I'm completely happy with, apart from, like we say, the moments that I feel like they underserved, that they could have done better. Yeah. But I really love what they did as a whole. I think there's a little slip there. So he goes in, obviously, he stands in front of Voldemort. He allows himself to die. Yeah. That was what needed to happen. Yeah. I do like the King's Cross scene. That bit does work.
I like it. I still think it's weird that she even wrote it, if I'm honest.
I like it. I like the fact that he got the moment with Dumbledore he never got to have.
Yeah,
because he
that was the only reason.
Robbed of any goodbye with Dumbledore in it, and I like the scene. It's very wise, lots of wisdom in it, you know.
Just little questions, I think, like, you know, why doesn't he have his glasses on? Why is Voldemort under a bench? Just weird. I just want to know why. Why?
But I think it's meant to be very strange. It's the unknown, isn't it? You know. There aren't answers to everything. That's the thing of it. Now, another big moment for me, and it means more to me as an adult, I think, than it ever did as a child, is Narcissa Malfoy. Oh, yeah, and I think it's very sad to see her now, obviously, because we've lost her now only a few months ago. Helen McCrory, and she was a fabulous actress.
Yeah, she was.
Lost her far too soon. So it's very bittersweet to watch it, knowing that she's only just passed. That was very sad. But for me, it's such a huge thing. And I think, again, like I said, I think it's seeing it as an adult rather than a child, is her lie. It's just more proof of something Voldemort just doesn't understand. She doesn't care for the outcome of this. She doesn't care one jot anymore about sides. She just wants her son. Yeah. And it's love. It's all love. And she lies. She's willing to lie for it.
Yeah.
And I think it's a huge moment. There's nothing made of it. It's very subtle, but really when you actually look at it, it's just one more thing that goes against Voldemort.
Yeah, and if that split-second decision she makes to lie actually saves the world, really.
Yeah,
and a lot of
absolutely.
little decisions in the film kind of do.
I didn't really write any more notes apart from to the end.
Well, the last bit's almost one sequence, isn't it? I think Neville's speech is good for his character, but just a bit cheesy.
Neville has loads in this. He just comes out of the woodwork all of a sudden.
I will say, there's a bit where he bumps into Harry. You know, all the chaos in the castle, and you get the same 14 kids running in different directions aimlessly. And then Neville's like, "Have you seen Luna?
I'm mad for her."
I'm mad for her. I was like, well, I don't think they've even spoken.
A bit weird. Yeah. They
Again, why put it in?
They don't have a relationship in the book. So it's a bit weird. But yeah, I suppose, it's something.
But again, just there was another piece of script in that I just thought, could you just not put it in? Do you know what I mean? Of all the things they left out, they put that in.
They've got that really awkward hug with Draco and Voldemort, which has become a meme.
Yeah, and the laugh.
Was so awkward. Yeah, it's
again,
actually
I just
become
thought,
a thing.
Of all the things you cut out, you left these in.
Yeah, so like I say, quality slipped a little bit there.
Yeah.
Then we start fighting again.
Molly and Bellatrix is probably the next one.
Right. Yeah, that was what I was just coming to. So, in the book, I just remember thinking, yes, come on. And I'm not saying that I don't think Julie Walters did a great job, because I think she did. But I just don't know if it was delivered just right. I don't know. I'm really pleased it happened, and I'm glad they kept it in, and I think they did okay with it, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, she doesn't feel much like Mrs. Weasley.
I finished that scene and I just feel like I wanted something different. However, I couldn't tell you what that is. I just don't think it quite works the way I want it to.
Maybe over a bit too quickly, done a bit too easily.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel like much effort went into doing it.
There's that one shot of Bellatrix against Ginny, and then Mrs. Weasley jumps in and and then you move on again,
It was only
not
really
my
there
daughter, you bitch.
You bitch.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic.
Had to be there.
Neville and Nagini is another bit.
Great. I do love that.
Quite
I think
like
it's
that.
Yeah.
Nice of the sword to turn up again.
I know, yeah.
Twice.
It appears whenever it feels like it, doesn't it? It appears in the hat for Neville, and it's just lay next to him, just there when he's fell over. And
I think again, it's a great moment. It happened almost exactly as it needed to happen, but just felt too easy. Again, Horcrux gone.
Again, I just feel like the quality slipped a little bit. Like you've got Harry and Voldemort just there against each other, and then he just kind of fades away into...
Yeah, he's the last bit of battle, really, isn't it? I thought it's a good fight initially. I like how Voldemort almost starts slapping Harry around. I quite like that. He's lost all, he's just insane at this point. He's just slapping him.
But Harry's gained something. He's got the upper hand. He knows more.
Which again makes it quite an easy fight. So they fly around for a bit and land in the courtyard.
It's a bit weird. I find that really weird.
Yeah.
There's lots of flying in this where people aren't really supposed to be able to fly. I think they're supposed to be able to fly on a broom.
Yeah. In the courtyard, again, I just get the feeling that they throw 2 spells and that's it. Again, I just thought it doesn't feel important anymore. It feels throwaway.
I thought it was good acting though. Like the moment before that, when Harry sees the snake gone, that look of triumph kind of look in his face, that I thought that was really well done.
Yeah, that's quite good.
Just a moment.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of, it all just ends then, doesn't it? Like you got that weird hug with Hagrid. Harry.
Yeah, after
that's
the
all
battle,
he says, and then he walks away.
No emotion from anybody. The most emotion I saw was from Filch, who was sweeping up.
Yeah, and then you just there's little quiet moments, isn't there, between people that you're seeing, and
I mean that moment with Luna and Neville, then that's fine. Yeah, just keep that in.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then they go outside onto the bridge and he snaps the wand. Now, my problem with that was, in the book, he fixes his wand first. He kept his wand, didn't he? And
Right.
he fixes his own because that's his special wand, He's now left himself pretty much with no wand, like Draco's wand, somebody else's wand.
Yeah.
Whereas in the book, he fixes his own and then destroys it, which I thought, well, yeah, okay.
It is really interesting that for a moment in time, Harry is the master of death. I think it's so interesting and such an understated moment and what he chooses to do. I mean, obviously, he drops the stone in the forest. He snaps the wand. Did he go and burn his cloak afterwards? I don't know.
So nobody else will be able to be master of death. But I think that's the thing about Harry is he never wanted any of it. He never wanted any power. He never wanted any fame. He never wanted any of it.
Could have sold it all on eBay though.
So it makes perfect sense that it went to the right person because nobody should be master of anything, and he understood that.
The last thing then is 19 years later. I've got to say, I hate the kids' names. I don't get that. I don't get the point of naming everybody after people you used to know. I don't get marrying everybody that you met at school. But it is what it is.
I mean, but they had these connections. I love the voice, though. I love that they deepened his voice a little bit.
I don't think they needed to do it. I thought the makeup was great, but the voices, well, his voice was weird. Nobody else's was.
I liked it. I thought it really worked.
He sounded like Ron.
It was a very subtle way of aging them because they didn't age them very much. They didn't do loads with them.
No, not loads.
They could have done a lot more, but they didn't. They kept it quite subtle.
But yeah, I mean, there's not much else to say about the ending, really. I cried a lot in the cinema.
I didn't cry actually at the ending. I cried. I think I'd cried myself out by that point.
You just dried out.
The last thing I've written is I just end feeling so satisfied and emotional with the last shot, the three leads and the original theme.
Yeah,
music. It's just magic.
Despite the last film having lots of issues and stuff, it
that
still felt like
shot.
the end of the
era.
story. Yeah. And that's what made me quite upset that can't possibly end. Like, how can it just end?
Yeah, everything ends, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You'll stay with me
until the end.
Now,
Go pick a character.
For me. Yeah. It's got to be Neville, right? Standout character. It's got to be
I did not see that coming.
As a standout character, because that's what we've got written on our little templates. Standout character.
Fair enough.
It's got to be Neville, hasn't it? I mean,
I don't know.
He really comes to the fore, I think, in this one. He's really involved in in protecting the castle. He's found his voice.
Yeah.
His confidence, this swagger that he didn't have before. Mm. And obviously, Harry, Ron, and Hermione have been gone, and it doesn't tell you much, but it does in the book that he's kind of become a leader.
He's held the fort, hasn't he?
Yeah, and that's made him as a person, and he has so much more to do. He's the one who kills the snake. He's the one who gets the sword out of the hat, and he is worthy.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, and so for me, it's got to be Neville.
Yeah, he's got a good arc really from being the scaredy cat he was in number 1. If it was standout actor, I think Alan Rickman would have taken it. But he still was a great character to have that revelation. But I chose him from the beginning because I knew. But no, for me, McGonagall.
Yeah, I was very tempted.
I'm glad we picked different people.
Yeah, it was almost her. She was my second place because I think love her. My only thing with that, the reason I didn't pick her is because she doesn't have enough.
Yeah, you don't see
You
her
get her for that little bit, but you see a lot more of Neville and it's more significant for him. That's why I went with him. In terms of favourite moments, the Pensieve character reveal is
good
for me. I just think the whole way that they did it, I think it's really well edited together, all of the different scenes and different things going on. And I think acting wise, like you say, Alan Rickman, absolute perfection, nailed it.
I don't think I'm going to pick that one because I don't like the flashback scenes in the first, especially when they involve the kids. Hi, I'm James. Hi, I'm Lily.
Just not a big fan of kids, are you, Matt?
Not really. No. I like it when Harry confronts Snape in the Great Hall, but I think it's ruined by the kid extras and the Order of the Phoenix randomly walking in. I much prefer McGonagall summoning the statues and then protecting the castle with the spells, with that music.
That's fabulous. Yeah.
I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, no, that works, definitely. Quotes at the beginning, I wrote down when she jumps on the dragon, they just stand and stare. She's like, well, come on then.
Yeah.
That was good. I like McGonagall. She had a few, so they're supposed to be out of bed, you blithering idiot.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to do that spell. That's probably my favourite line, to be honest. But I do think the bridge never went. That went well.
Yeah, I wrote
like that one.
Yeah.
And the two big ones for me though was Snape's always, and like I say, Lily's we never left. I think they are huge, impactful lines for me. But if I had to go for an absolute favourite, it's probably McGonagall. I've always wanted to do that spell.
Yeah, I mean, I might go with that one too. And I like the "Not My Daughter, You Bitch," but maybe not the best in the film. Yeah, I might agree with you. I'm going to go with just that whole McGonagall section. In fact, I picked McGonagall for everything.
Yeah, fab.
She stole the show.
Yeah, absolutely. Right.
Let's, for a few minutes now, reflect.
The stories we love best do live in us forever, so whether you come back by page or by the big screen, Hogwarts will always be there to welcome you home.
20 years on and 10 years after it ended.
I can't believe it's been that long. I remember them coming out. It makes me feel really old. That's like 2/3 of my life. It's absolutely mad. Now, if we look at it now, where we are today with Harry Potter is as visible now as it was when it finished.
Yeah, it almost never stopped growing.
It never went.
Obviously, we're not waiting for any films to come out. The story's ended and there's no books, but it didn't decline at all. It just kind of expanded and stayed. It didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it absolutely is a global phenomenon.
100%.
This got people reading. People didn't read. Kids were learning to read and reading just because of Harry Potter. I mean, that's a huge... If nothing else, she has done so much for children's literature, children's reading.
First time being published as well.
First time author, It's incredible. What she's brought so many... I'd say generations, a couple of generations now, because people are still reading them. They're still introducing their children to Harry Potter.
I was thinking the other day, like, what's defined your generation? And I think things like, for us, probably mobile phones, internet, Harry Potter.
But it is, I mean, you see, like, you go to, you've got the Harry Potter studio tour in London now, and right before you go in, they show you, like a montage video, and the fans and people at the premieres and standing waiting for the books in line and in costumes, all dressed up. And
it's global reach, isn't it?
Yeah, like opening bookshops at midnight to sell the books. I mean, that's not happened since.
Never ever happened before. Yeah.
This absolute phenomenon. It's never happened. And I really, honestly, I can't see it happening again.
No, I don't think so.
It was magical. And it's such lovely memories to have and to sit and remember that everybody was reading the books and you were like trying to read them to make sure that nothing got spoiled. They're lovely memories to have. Yeah.
There's a great line in the first film, which at the time probably didn't mean so much, but when you look at it now, it's McGonagall saying, "There won't be a child in our world who doesn't know his name." And it couldn't have been any truer.
Yeah, absolutely.
I said it throughout. I don't remember ever a time where the entire class knew and had read and had watched and were quoting Harry Potter. It's never happened since. There was never a time where absolutely everybody were all on the same page with it.
Yeah.
Everybody absolutely loved it.
And in terms of what there is now, I mean, it, like I say, it never left. It's just got bigger. I mean, the money she must make, she must blink and make £1 million.
I can't remember. I did read she made like £5 a second.
It's ridiculous. I mean, we've now got the spin-off series as well, and she's working on that. We've got the Fantastic Beasts movies, and she writes the scripts for those.
Anything that's spin-off is probably the worst thing to have come out of it. In the nicest possible way. I think the Cursed Child play sounds horrific.
I really want to see the Cursed Child.
Yeah, I've heard the production of it is good. The way they've done it sounds amazing, but the actual plot is ridiculous. Voldemort's got a daughter with Bellatrix and shit. It's just stupid.
I can't very much remember what happened, to be honest. I suppose that goes to show, doesn't it? It was quite forgettable. I read it and moved on.
Yeah.
But we've now got the theme parks. There's London, there's the studio tour in Watford.
Yeah,
that's
huge
amazing.
draw.
I am so ready to go back to that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Gringotts. I haven't seen the Forbidden Forest.
Those who've been recently to Gringotts will know that there is a part of it that steals the entire tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I really want to go back.
Let's look at the actual impact of the film. So I've got some stuff here. The box office worldwide gross. Well, there's 10 films now from the Wizarding World, so $10 billion grossed, and that's averaging obviously about $1 billion per film,
which is incredible.
It's the third highest film series now, behind Star Wars, which has obviously had a lot of big films, and the MCU, which has had over double. Awards-wise, it's very interesting. It's the most snubbed top-grossing franchise of all time at the Academy Awards. It had 12 nominations and no wins. But production design, costume, visual effects were like regularly nominated.
I think costumes could have won as well. Even production design.
That should have won,
that went into that. I mean, it's unbelievable. I do believe the word snubbed is definitely appropriate.
Stuart Craig, the production designer, really was the unsung hero. Without him, you wouldn't have had, obviously, not only the look of the world and the actual sets for the films, but the studio tour wouldn't exist. None of the theme parks would exist.
He should have
he should get an honorary Oscar.
He should have been given some kind of significant, something.
Yeah. And then the books repeatedly broke their own records for the fastest selling. More than 500 million books sold to date. All 7 books are in the top 15 best-selling books of all time.
Yeah.
Philosopher's Stone is number 2.
Well believe that. I can well believe that.
J.K. Rowling, the world's first and still only billionaire author. She's wealthier than the Queen of England.
I can believe that
it or not. And she wrote it because she wanted to. She had no expectation of... I mean, she was in deep depression as well. Like, someone wrote a comment on one of the videos saying, from deep depression to defining a complete generation.
Yeah. We were lucky that they came out when they did.
I'm so glad.
Because there was no social media to ruin them. There was, it was most of it was word of mouth. The experience would not be the same if the books came out now. It would be completely ruined. And I think we're so lucky that they came out when they did.
I don't know about you, but my life is essentially split into pre and post Harry Potter. I don't remember a lot from before Harry Potter existed. Harry Potter was the first book I read. It was the first film series I ever got into. Do you remember before there was a filmic reference of what people looked like or how to even pronounce some of the names?
Yeah, I couldn't say Hermione when I first read the
we
books.
said Hermione and Crabe,
I didn't know what to say
Draco.
And I literally didn't have a clue. Yeah. Right.
Next.
Now on to our extraordinary magical quiz.
Oh, yes.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Anything, my boy, anything.
This is going to be like quick fire.
It's quick fire. If you don't know it, I said it before, it's tough titties, you move on.
Yeah, we literally, that's it. You're stuck.
We're getting a quiz each. 24 questions each, 3 per film.
Yeah, so it's 3 from each film.
And I'm answering first, is that right?
You're answering first?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Quiz music.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Number 1, Philosopher's Stone. What colours are Harry's birthday cake icing and writing?
Pink and green.
Well done. Very good.
1 point.
Yes. What number is Harry's vault at Gringotts?
687.
Oh my god, I'm extremely impressed. Okay. How many points do Gryffindor get in the Quidditch match?
By the end?
All together.
Okay, 150 for the snitch, and then let's add on 20 more points. 170.
Very well done.
Yeah? Oh, cool.
Yeah, well done. Impressed. Okay, Chamber of Secrets.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you that one, it's too easy.
He's adjusting.
What is the name of the bookshop at Diagon Alley?
Flourish and Blots.
Well done. What spell turns animals into water goblets?
Ferraverto. That's me doing a McGonagall. It didn't work very well.
And what is Aragog?
Acromantula.
Well done. Very impressive. I know already I'm going to lose. I can see already.
6 for 6.
Okay, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yeah.
What food is Harry served at or offered at the Leaky Cauldron?
Oh, pea soup.
Yes, well done. What two symbols can be seen in Harry's teacup?
The ones that Ron sees is the wonky cross and the sun.
Yes, well done. What spell is used to break Sirius out of the tower?
Bombarder.
Well done. My God, I just feel like I haven't paid enough attention. I'm absolutely dreading this now. Goblet of Fire. I really am not going to like this at all. What phrase of alliteration do Fred and George repeat?
Is it bumbling band of baboons?
Yes, well
Thank
done.
God for that. I got the last bit. I couldn't remember the first word.
Okay, what is the name of the song the band sing at the Yule Ball? The one that you don't like?
I don't know if it's full. Can you dance like a hippogriff?
Well done.
Yeah.
What direction does Moody point to Harry to go when he enters the maze?
As we're looking at him, he tells Harry to go to the left. He points to his left.
To whose left?
When we look at Moody pointing, he points to our right, Harry's left.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, there you go.
Jesus Christ.
Just wanted you to be specific there.
And then Harry turns left.
Yes, okay. Wow, this is incredible. Full point so far. I've lost. What's the point of even doing yours? We should just call you the winner. Order of the Phoenix. What is the name of Fred and George's products?
The box we see is a skiving snack box.
Overall, what are they?
Weasley Wizard Wheezes.
That's the one. What does Kingsley say Dumbledore has when Dumbledore escapes?
Dumbledore's got style.
That's right. What is the address of the Order of the Phoenix headquarters?
12 Grimmauld Place.
Well done.
London?
I'm really, really worried now. Half-Blood Prince.
Yeah.
What did Harry tell Cormac he was eating?
Dragon Balls.
That's correct. What did Belby's uncle invent?
Wolfsbane potion?
Yep, that's correct. Yep.
Surprising myself now.
What initials are in the locket? Bonus point if you know what they stand for.
RAB. Regulus Arcturus Black.
Very impressive. Very, very impressive. You're putting me to shame. I haven't even done it yet and I know. Okay, what is the name of the Hogwarts teacher killed and what did she teach?
Charity Burbage, Muggle Studies.
Yeah. What does Mad Eye say Polyjuice Potion tastes like? You've already told us today.
Goblin piss.
That's correct. And what is the Snatcher's wand made of that Ron gives to Harry?
Oh, God. I remember him giving it to him. Oh, God, what word sounds right? Hawthorn?
No, close. No. It's Blackthorn. You're very close. You've dropped 1 point in the entire thing. I was actually willing you to get them all right. I was actually willing you to get them all. Oh. What type of dragon is in Gringotts?
Ukrainian Iron Belly.
Well done. Who gave the mirror to Aberforth?
I imagine Dumbledore did. Albus Dumbledore.
No, Mundungus Fletcher.
Ah.
And what spell is used to protect the castle?
Oh God, they all say it as well. They're all going.
No, not that one. McGonagall's one.
Oh, Pier Totem Locomotor.
That's the one.
Don't ask me to do Scottish.
I didn't.
You didn't. I know. Oh.
Okay, wow.
Quick tally.
So you dropped 2 points there. That's it.
22 out of 24?
Yeah, but I gave you a bonus. So you got 23 out of 25.
Okay.
Oh my God.
But some of them were tricky. Are you ready for your happy... Do you want me to make them slightly easier, or... I've got backups.
Oh, just go for it. We already know I'm not going to beat 22. I mean, for God's sake. I'm not going to come anywhere close.
Okay, here we go. Question 1, Philosopher's Stone. What type of snake does Harry talk to at the zoo?
Something Brazilian. Anaconda.
A Brazilian anaconda? No.
I don't know. No idea.
It's a Burmese python.
God.
He's from
no
Burma.
idea.
What number was the vault with the Philosopher's Stone being kept?
713.
Correct. What reason does McGonagall give for taking points from Hermione after the troll fight?
Oh, Jesus. I know why she gives the guys points. Lack of judgment.
Give you that. Yeah, serious lack of judgment. Chamber of Secrets. According to Uncle Vernon, what had been ruined by Dobby making noise upstairs?
His Chinese golfer joke. Oh, something golfer joke.
Have one more guess at that.
Nah.
I'll give you half a point. The Japanese golfer joke.
Oh, Japanese. I was close.
So close. How many times had Gilderoy Lockhart won which weekly's Most Charming Smile award?
5.
Correct. Apart from hair, name one ingredient of Polyjuice Potion.
No, it's gone. It's gone. I know he says it in the later books.
Yeah, Snape mentions a few of them.
No, I can't remember.
You could have had fluxweed, knotgrass, lacewing flies, which is the one that's mentioned, leeches, bicorn horn, or boom slang skin, which is the other one that's mentioned.
Damn it.
Prisoner of Azkaban. What is the name of the school that Vernon claimed to have sent Harry to?
Oh,
the one with
it's
the
not
cane.
Smeltings. That's his one, isn't it? That's Dudley's one. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's not Smeltings.
School for Incurable Cases. Oh, I can't remember. Bloody hell.
St. Brutus's.
Oh, so yeah.
What was the password to the Gryffindor common room? This is when Dawn French was looking after it.
Oh, Jesus. The amount of times they say it as well. Fortuna Major.
Yes, correct. Shortly before his break into Hogwarts, Sirius Black was sighted nearby, but where?
Bloody hell. Doonstown? Something.
You're close.
I know who says it as well, but I can even picture the tone he says it in. I can't remember the words.
Well, it is Hermione, so
Oh, is it not it's not the thingy kid?
No, it's not dramatic tension kid. It's the.
I love how you knew what I meant though. Yeah, no, I can't remember.
It's Dufftown. Sorry.
I got the D. Began with the D.
It's the best part, to be fair. Goblet of Fire. What is the name of Rita Skeeter's column in the Daily Prophet? She says it, and then you see it later.
Oh my god. No.
No, me, myself, and I would like to know. And it's written on the paper later.
I didn't realise that was the name of it, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dragons for the first task were Swedish, Hungarian, Chinese, and what?
Right, hang on a second. So it was a Hungarian horntail, Swedish short snout, Chinese fireball.
Chinese golfer joke.
Yeah. And oh my god, no, it's gone.
Fleur draws the Welsh green.
Yeah.
Who does Ron say he looks and smells like in his dress robes?
Great auntie somebody. Oh god. Nope.
I'll give you half a point for that. It's his great aunt Tessie.
Yeah.
Order of the Phoenix. Who sends the letter to Harry informing him he has been expelled from Hogwarts?
Mafalda Hopkirk.
Yay. Correct. What form does Ginny Weasley's Patronus take?
It's not a horse, is it?
Yep.
Or a
it's
hare?
A horse. It's a horse.
Yeah,
Luna's
it's
was a
Hermione's the hare. Luna's the hare.
Yeah.
Hermione's
is an
otter,
otter,
isn't it? That's
Yeah.
right.
What exam is being sat when Fred and George release their fireworks?
Oh, Jesus.
Written on the chalkboard in the background. Basically, pick a class.
Jesus. No idea. Defense Against Dark Arts, just because she's there?
No, it's Theory of Charms.
Oh, right, okay.
Half-Blood Prince. Where were the owners of the house that Slughorn was hiding out in? I'll give you a clue. They're probably on holiday.
Hawaii?
No. They're in the Canary Islands.
Oh, right, okay. Yeah.
What was the name of Tom Riddle's orphanage?
Oh, God, Matt. Jesus. No idea.
No, it's Wool's Orphanage.
Oh God, no! I never would have got that one.
It's right, it shows you on the screen. Who is Robbie Fenwick?
Who's Robbie Fenwick? Is he one of the kids he terrorizes?
He terrorizes.
Yeah.
No.
Nah, not a clue.
No, it's the boy who bit Hermione's father at the dentist.
Oh.
I love this quiz. Deathly Hallows
Obviously
Part 1.
winning.
Other than The Tale of the Three Brothers, name another story in the Tales of Beedle the Bard.
Babbity Rabbity.
I'll give you that, yeah. Babbity Rabbity and the Cackling Stump is one of them. You could have also had The Wizard and the Hopping Pot, but I don't know the other ones because he doesn't say any others. Bathilda Bagshot was the author of which book?
History of Magic.
Correct. What was the book theme on this one? What was the name of the book written by Rita Skeeter?
Like the Life of Albus Dumbledore, Life and Lies of Albus Dumbledore.
Correct, yeah. The Life
Is
and
that
Lies.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell, that's from the book, that's like a buried memory.
Yeah, that's good. Last film. What is on the shields held by the suits of armour at the perimeter of the castle? You know, the ones that have shields.
God, I don't remember looking at the shields. I remember looking at the actual statues. The Hogwarts crest?
I'm going to give you half a point. They're each of the house animals.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I think you're being very kind here, but thank you very much.
They're kind of Hogwarts crests, just not the Hogwarts crest. According to Dumbledore, what is our most inexhaustible source of magic?
Words.
Correct. And very last question. What pet does Harry's son Albus bring to Hogwarts?
Oh, Jesus. I wasn't paying attention. There was a lot of animals in that scene.
Quite a lot, yeah. Not necessarily ones that you're allowed to take.
I'm just going to go with an owl because I'm not sure.
No, he's bringing a ferret.
Is he?
Yeah.
That's so weird. I've never noticed.
Very unusual.
Now I know. Okay, what's the damage?
I think it's 11.5.
That's very bad. I feel like I got some of the harder ones as well, like people's names that you wouldn't remember.
Really? It's not easy, is it?
No, it's well, not according to you. You make it look easy.
Yeah, I've got a very good memory.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't. I'm not known for my memory at all.
Who am I?
Not.
Obliviate.
May as well, because I've obviously forgotten half the stuff.
Don't worry.
I thought you knew what you signed up for.
Yeah, I thought I did too.
So that's it. 4 episodes.
Yes.
Absolute extravaganza of Harry Potter.
We promised a comprehensive look at the franchise. We delivered.
I think we did. I really do think we did. We've got a exciting one coming up. We've got a 2-part Stephen King coming up through August, which will be interesting.
I think we've got some good films from the first, we're calling it like the first half, I guess, of his most famous films. We're looking at Carrie, The Shining, Stand By Me, Pet Sematary, Misery, and then the 90s TV miniseries of It.
Yeah, we're calling it a film because you can't.
I wanted to watch it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, you can't not include it. It's one of his biggest creations.
Yeah.
So that'll be good fun.
Yeah.
So in the meantime, Matt, where can they find us?
If you've not died during the process of this, then you can find us on our website, cinechat.co.uk/podcast, or across the social media. Just search for Cinechat Podcast, or you can email us at
podcast@cinechat.co.uk.
You could email us and let us know how you did in the quiz.
And if you managed to get all the way to the end, to the quiz, well done, and thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So that is all for me.
And for me, signing off. Mischief managed. Bye.
Bye.